at the end of the day, you got to learn how to leverage your resources to get you to that next level. And at the end of the day, if you got that mindset, you'll always figure things out. Yeah. Because 90% of business is done with people. Like skills is a part of it. I mean, technology and certain things, you got to have like crazy skills. But in real estate, you ain't got to be that smart. Nah. I don't think do you feel like that? Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? It's your boy, Abram Mitchell, and you are now tuned in to the Triple M podcast, where you unlock the secrets of a money-making mindset. So I want you to get ready to level up your real estate game and level up your mindset and get a good look at the inside of a true go-getter. Any guests that we bring on to this podcast show, we got to make sure that they're a go-getter. We got to make sure that they have a money-making mindset. We got to make sure that they are aligned with what we want our viewers to get from this show. So today I have a special guest with me, my guy, Dolewite.
What's good, bro?
What's popping? How you feeling?
Man, I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you pulling up, my boy.
Man.
So I'm pretty excited for this episode, man. Dole is he's been a radio host at iHeartRadio for what, 12, 13?
Try again.
20 years?
22. It'll be 22 in December.
Okay, I was off by a lot. But the point I'm making is he a vet in the game.
Been around for a minute.
He's been around for a minute. And he's not just a radio host. He's also a real estate investor also. So we go get the, peel back his overall career just in business as an entrepreneur and a radio host at the same time. So, man, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. And I love everything that you're doing right now, man. I definitely respect everything you're doing for right now, for real.
I appreciate it, though. Real recognize, real.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, look, man, I want to get right into it, man. I never interviewed a radio host.
Okay.
I never interviewed one of y'all. I know I've been on your show and you interviewed me, but now I'm in the seat where I'm interviewing the professional interviewer, How does it feel to be on the other side of the table?
I've been here a couple times in a couple different interviews, but I'm always relaxed with it, man. I feel like I have a pretty interesting story. Yeah. And I'm always happy to tell it, man. Like, so yeah, like
especially in this day and age, it's like seemed like since COVID, like people telling your story just open up so much opportunities that a lot of people didn't even realize before the social media influencer era,
It absolutely does. And I think there's also an aspect of people that have known your name or known what you've done for a long period of time, but don't know, the things that you did to get there, or even kind of what you go through now on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Everybody just sees, they see certain successes and things of that nature, but they don't see kind of like, I get stressed out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll get into that later, but like, I'm out here
people
DJing.
Live life.
Yeah, people live life, man. Like every stresses happen, and at every level of success that you are, and I think I think it's always good to put that kind of human aspect on people, because we all go through it.
Yep, I agree, bro. And like one thing I really wanted to ask you is like, how does it, like, piggybacking off what we just talked about? I feel like you've been like a public figure before it was cool to be a public figure, So like, how has that transition, because you've been in it before we had Instagrams, Facebook, before it was like popping, what I'm saying, like it is today.
They say in radio that like radio hosts are the first influencers. Like we were the first, you know what I mean? Like wherever you grew up, you probably listened to the radio.
Before
like
TV, you had the radio,
and so now like radio, it has changed obviously because of streaming, podcast, things of that nature. But having been a person that has been known in this city for a long time, I think, and especially like you see, I got a wife, a kid, you know what I mean? And you see it, I think it projects just like nothing but, easy living and happiness all the time, which is, that's what we put out on social media. Yeah. But like to tell a long form story is different than that. And you tell the ebbs and flows of life, and when one thing goes up, when the family thing is working perfectly and we're working perfectly as a unit, maybe the money thing is I'm getting stressed, what I'm saying? Like, so it's ebbs and flows of everything. And I'm always happy to talk about those things and be open about them.
So like, did you notice like the change is coming, like the opportunity early, like before other people? Because the streaming world got popular, within the last 10 years,
and podcasting as well.
Yeah.
Man, it's kind of crazy, because I remember when I was in college, was when they had Napster. I don't know if you're familiar with Napster.
I don't even know what that is.
Napster was like the first place you could go and download a song.
Okay.
And so like living in that from that Napster time where you're like, this isn't gonna work. And then like you saw what happened to Napster. Napster ended up having to basically fail because record labels was like, you're giving away our music. You cannot do that. Okay. And to see it come to where it is now, where that's what it is. You subscribe to Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, whatever it is.
Is it like a SoundCloud, Napster?
Kind
I
of.
never heard of it.
It's just you would go and you would like type in the name of the song and the artist, and then you would download it. It would take a long time to download it because internet wasn't as fast as it. But like you could have any record you wanted. And this is back. I mean, I'm DJing back then.
Did you pay for the download? Was it like
no? It was free. Everything
so
on
was
Napster,
like one of the first forms of streaming. Then.
And that's why Napster got popped. You know what I'm saying? Napster got popped because record labels was like, no, we're not doing this.
Y'all not paying enough.
And now you look around 20, 30 years later and you're like, this is the only way that it is. And like, if you told a kid that grew up today that they had to, they couldn't download their music or they couldn't listen to something for free, they'd look at you crazy. Like, that's not a thing anymore. But I mean, seeing it from where it started from the Napster days and where it is now is insane, man. It's really mind blowing. I think I think you kind of start seeing it. I think for me, it may have been 05, 06, 07 when DJs we started using Serato instead of vinyl records. Like I was carrying around when I started my career, I was carrying around 8, 10, 13 crates of records every time I went into a club and DJ'd. And then 05, 06, 07 Serato comes around and kind of changes that to where you're using a laptop now. And I think at that point you start looking at it and you see, all right, this is different. Like I don't have to carry 10 crates of records with me no more. Eventually this is going to be moved on to the consumer, not just the DJs. And so I don't think that's surprising from that point, but it's surprising from the Napster days where everybody was freaking out about it. You know what I mean?
And I remember like, cause I'm born in 98. So
okay. That was like right around Napster. Like, yeah.
Exactly. We like half and half. So I remember the days where you had to buy an album. You know what I'm saying?
You bought CDs, yeah.
We had to burn this, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I knew that's mostly how you got music. You couldn't get it for free.
Right.
You know what I mean? This before YouTube was popping like that and all that. And it's crazy that you say the record label stopped it.
Oh, they was not going with that
stuff, bro. Hand wasn't in it. So they were like, oh, it was a great idea.
But
let me go do it now. Because it's like when you look at the streaming world, you look at it relates to business. Yeah. I mean, it is business, but it relates to like you could think of crypto. The purpose of cryptocurrency is to decentralize banks and finances and everything. And now you see the crypto market crashing, but really what's going on is that all of the centralized government, now they're coming in and they want to get their hand into
They're going to figure out a way to make their money.
So they could control it. So same thing with, Hollywood. Yeah. They on strike right now because they're getting pennies.
Yeah, everything changes, man. In the streaming world, I think there might be, I want to say there's less money in there now.
It's less.
Yeah, I would think so.
For the person that's making the product, the actual rappers. Yeah. Then they're starting to figure it out now. So it's like,
I even came up. I remember when rappers were chasing ringtones.
Yeah,
ringtones was like the thing. Yeah, like that was the they were chasing ringtones, and that was the main thing. And it's kind of like the ringtone thing reminds me of what TikTok is now. Like a lot of artists are trying to make TikTok records so they can go. They go crazy, right? Yeah. Ringtones was the same thing. You wanted to make a record that you could sell, millions of ringtones on, and that's how you were getting paid back then.
But these artists, they not banking off the streaming money. They just banking off the popularity so they can get booked for more shows.
Show money is where it's at. I remember I had an interview one time with Boosie, and I remember Boosie told me, I was like,
Shout out to the boot.
Yeah. I was like, I remember I asked him, I'm like, because I was like, how do you? He wouldn't have a record out, and he would come to Nashville and he would sell everything out, right? Yeah. And I'd be like, how are you selling all this out? He was like, I have real fans. Like people really like. I have real fans, and as long as I have real fans, I can always make money.
Because they go support you.
He's gonna support you no matter what.
Influence, and I think nowadays it's harder for rappers to build a real fan base. Yeah. Just because you could post something, it goes viral on the Instagram or the streaming world, but that don't make you no money. That make all the
everybody else money.
The people that own it, you know,
Right.
the people that own Spotify, Universal.
Right.
I saw something yesterday. Universal make 50 M's a day.
I'm sure they do.
$50 million a day. So it's like, what is a song really worth? Like, why are y'all paying rappers like what for a million views on YouTube? It's like $4,000.
But that's also why you see artists like in Nashville, we have Lito. Like Lito is an independent artist, and Lito is straight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because he make
everything, merch, make money off of everything, man. He just his show money, he books his own tours. He's mapped out his own tours before. Like, I'm gonna go to this market, this market, this market. Did all the legwork himself, but he also brought home all the money. You know what I mean? Like, shout out Lito, man.
Nah, man, that's crazy, bro. That's interesting because I think, you know, just like what we see going on in the automotive world with the strike, you see it going on in the acting world in Hollywood. They on strike. I don't know. I mean, the rappers might be the next ones that go on strike and be like, y'all gonna have to pay us a larger cut.
And they probably should.
Because y'all making billions off our music. You're getting this ad, like you're getting billions off of it.
And I think
that's nothing.
I also think there's a movement, especially here in America, where we've seen from the time like I was a kid, or even when my parents were kids or younger adults, that like it's getting harder and harder to make it here. Like when I was growing up, it was go to college, get a job out of college, get a starter position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you'll be able to pay all your bills and you'll move up throughout life. And in my instance, that has happened, but it's not that for kids that are getting out of college now.
Nah.
Like, you're going to end up paying back, you know what I'm saying, $200,000 at least in student loans. And then you're going to get a job that starts at 30, 40, 50 grand. And that math don't work. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I think
math ain't mathing.
That math ain't mathing at all, bro. Like,
for me, when I was in college, bro, I was like, nah, this ain't. Nah,
yeah. And when I was in college, like, my student loans, they're paid off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was lucky because my grandfather paid most of my college. I only took out a loan, I think 1 or 2 semesters. But either way, like, it wasn't what it is now, bro. Like, it wasn't what it is now. Like,
inflation is
ridiculous. Inflation is crazy, but like, if you look at like things like minimum wage and what you pay the average worker, those things have stayed stagnant while profits have inflated. And you know, the CEOs of these companies are getting paid a lot more money.
They are, and they printed a whole lot more money. And and you know, again, back to the age we in of social media and influence, it has driven the consumer side of America. You know what I mean? So we have more consumers than ever, and everyone's driven about buying things that don't make them money. You know what I'm saying? And there's only the top 10% that is selling everything to the consumers, right? You know, so
that's one thing I can say about myself that I've always been pretty good about. I mean, I made some dumb decisions in my younger days, but like ever since I started ever since I bought my first house, everything what I spent my money on has always been things to improve that house that I bought. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been like real obsessed with that, and not necessarily going out and getting the latest clothes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'll shop at Target and H&M and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not rolling to the Louis store and spending my money. That's not my thing.
That's millionaire habits. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, if you're not good with money when you don't have money, then what you think you gonna do with it when you get it?
What's wild about it is like, I'm just naturally like that. Like, I never thought about it in that sense that I'm putting money into an asset rather than I'm putting money into something that doesn't make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that never even clicked. It was just naturally like, I wanted, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to redo my bathroom, so I redid it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's something that you like.
That's something that I liked. Yeah.
So I'm happy we on that topic now, because that's the thing that I want to talk about too. So, I mean, you been in radio, you started that 22 years ago. It's 2001.
Yeah.
And you've grown in that career now. So I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna put you in the Hall of Fame.
Man, I hope so. Yeah, I was nominated for the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame this past year. I didn't make it, but I was nominated. So
okay, dope. Nice. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
I hope so.
It's coming. So what sparked that real estate interest? You know, because you're making money in the radio game. You know, and then you probably was like, look, I need to do something with this. So
it was trial and error, man. I remember, so I was, they were turning, me and my partner school moved up here, and we took this job in 2001, and we moved in an apartment together. We were roommates. Off of the river downtown in Nashville here.
Okay.
And
where you from?
I'm from Atlanta originally.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I grew up in Clayton County. And,
all right, so you moved here in
I moved
01.
here 01 for the job.
All right, cool, got you.
For the job. And then, so they were basically like, we're kicking everybody out and we're going to turn these into condos. Once your lease is up, this is over. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try to buy a house.
Yeah.
And so I looked at a spot in Antioch, and I had a couple deals that fell through. And then I was like, why don't I just stay here and buy one of these? It was 650 square feet. It was a small 1-bedroom apartment right on the river though. Beautiful location. You open my back sliding glass door, like the Cumberland River is right there. You know what I'm saying? You come out my front, the Batman building is right there. You know what I mean? Like,
dope. So that's back when it was only the Batman building.
That was the skyline, right? Yeah. So, but I bought that, and it was $110,000.
Okay.
Which is unheard of now.
Yeah.
And
110,000 downtown Cumberland.
It was crazy. And then
how you bought it? Was it like a bank loan?
It was a bank loan. It was a bank loan, and that was back when they did 80-20 loans, because this was before the mortgage crisis.
Okay.
So before the mortgage crisis, they gave me I had one loan, one mortgage for 80% of it, and then the other mortgage was 20%, which was basically the down
So you
payment.
had 100% loan.
I had 100% loan. Yeah.
And back in the day, you probably thought 100% loan. They love me like they trying to take care of me. Huh?
But that was the way back then, and I think that's one of the things during the housing crisis that may have gotten kind of popped. I don't know much about mortgages back there. They were just like, look, you qualify. This is what your mortgage is going to be. And I remember my mortgage was a little higher because there was two of them. You know what I'm saying? I was paying an 80 and a 20. But I think maybe like a year later after that, I had enough equity in it to finance out of it and just have an 80% loan, right?
Okay. And that's basically a way to get you in, like, just for our viewers that don't understand, back in the day, I mean, at the end of the day, America's number one product is money. They sell money. So when they found out, okay, cool, we could sell money and make interest off of it. They went a little crazy. Then let's get them these properties with no money down, and it's imaginary money. Like the bank, it's imaginary money. They're using money we deposited into there or money that they borrowed from the Fed at negative or 0% interest rate. So the point is now they just want to get the interest payments off of these houses, and now that you're over leveraged on the home, and then you get to a point like the 08 crisis where it's like, okay, now let's take all these houses back and sell them again and start that process over. So you don't rarely see loans like that again because
they're probably illegal now, I believe. Yeah, it is. I don't think you can do that anymore.
But they're doing it in a different way now. And that's just crazy. Like now in 2023, you seeing Zillow, Amazon's offering like 1% down mortgages.
Wow.
And just think about it like this. Like I was talking to somebody last week, and I'm like, bro, when has capitalism been on the consumer side?
It's never.
Like you think Zillow, Amazon, these banks are like, how can we service them?
No.
So if they're saying, okay, we're going to give you a loan where you only have to put down 1% or it's a 100% loan, you need to think about what's the catch. Yeah. I'm not saying you can't capitalize off of it, but understand that.
My mom always told me if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
There's always a catch.
Yeah, it's always a catch. But I got lucky, though. I was able to finance out of mine.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You was one of the lucky ones because a lot of people, you probably got some friends. Maybe your boy that moved with you, did he buy a property?
He didn't.
Okay, cool. But a lot of people lost their properties in 08.
Yeah, they did. And to make it even worse was in after the 08 crisis, we're still in recovery. The economy's still in recovery. So 2010, the Nashville flood happens. Okay. I'm on the second floor. The flood, like I said, I'm right on the river. The flood took out the entire first floor of this building. Okay. So then at this point, this property is not worth, it's barely worth what I paid for it at 110. So
now you got a loan.
Now I got a loan for 110 and I'm basically breaking even on it right now. You know what I'm saying? So at that point in 2010, we were doing this party on Thursday nights at a spot called Karma, and it was the biggest party in the city. It's a legendary party, man. Shout out to anybody that rocked with me back in the Karma days. You changed my life. I heard about
Limelight.
Limelight was a little bit after Karma, but Karma and Mai before that were what me, Scoob, and my guy Box did for years, and Deshaun, and we just had a whole crew out there. But I mean, we did this party, and the party changed my life, man. I'm making like real money for the first time.
Wasn't back in the day you was tapped in with Drake and them? when Drake
it's just Drake came. Like I've never met Drake a day in my life. If you mention my name to Drake, you would not know me.
That was Will. Somebody was tapped
so
in
what
Drake.
it was Drake twice stopped by that party at Karma.
Oh, okay. So that's a party you was throwing.
It was a party I'm throwing, and he comes through twice.
And it was some people Drake was Drake.
No. He was Drake.
Oh, he was Drake. Like he was Drake.
No, he was Drake. Okay. He was Drake. Because like I remember like Karma, like I remember I was DJing that night at Karma, and Drake comes through, and he's in the VIP, which is all the way over to the left.
Okay.
And the whole club was packed, but it would look like everybody shifted left.
Yeah.
And this side of the club was empty, and everybody was just trying to get a look at Drake.
Yeah.
Like it was a wild night. But he came to that, and then he came a couple years later to our party. We moved the party from Karma to My.
Okay.
And he came to that too. Like I think he performed at Vanderbilt that night, and then came through afterwards. Just
okay. Yeah,
came.
That's
like, I don't know the man. He just came.
Imagine Drake being in Nashville. I know William said he bought Drake out.
Yeah. So Will knew Tez, who was Drake's manager at that time, and they came through. Will was the only person that night at Karma. Will was the only person that got a pick with him.
But you was managing. So
that was my party. We were the promoters. Like I was promoter and I DJ'd that party.
You was managing Will though, right? Because
yeah.
All
for
right,
a minute.
cool.
Yeah.
That's where the connection come at then. Because you was managing Will.
Yeah.
Will had the relationship with Tez, so he got to meet Drake when Drake
through. Yeah.
Okay, dope. So you say y'all was throwing the party.
We were throwing the party, and I was making money for like real money. You know what I'm saying, for the first time. And I looked around and I had seen it. I think on Facebook maybe or something like that. I had seen these houses that were being built, and I was like, man, this is like it's like modern architecture. It had a rooftop deck, and this is before y'all builders was putting rooftop decks on everything in Nashville. This was like
that's my signature right now.
Nobody had a rooftop deck in Nashville at this time. Like it was like 3 buildings maybe. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, man, and then I forgot about them. And then a couple months later, I happened to be riding on 2nd Avenue South, and I saw them. Like, those are those things. And then it was like open house. It happened to be an open house the same time I was there. And I was like, I'm gonna pull around. I'm gonna go to this open house. So I walked in, and the second I walked in, I was like, I don't know how. I don't know if I qualify. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy this house.
Okay.
And I
figure it out.
I'm gonna figure it out, bro. Like there's got to be a way.
Die by that, bro.
I was like, I'm buying this house. So like, I talked to the real estate agent, and he was like, all right, cool. And I was like, I'm gonna sell my crib. I'm gonna buy that one. And then like my crib was on the market for like the 1 bedroom was on the market for like a week or two. And then he was like, hey man, the owner of the developer wants to come see your unit. He might buy it, and then y'all just kind of trade out. And I was like,
the one that built
the houses that I wanted to buy was interested in possibly buying my unit. Right. He was just trying to get rid of those. So ended up.
I wonder why he wanted to buy your unit though.
Well, now, like I get it.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Keep going.
Now I get
keep
it.
going. All right.
Now
going,
I get
man.
it. But you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, cool. I just wanted a bigger crib. Like this crib was 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, rooftop deck. It's perfect for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm single at the time. And so like we ended up kind of swapping houses. Like he bought mine. I ended up breaking even on it, which still hurts me to this day, but we'll get around to that. And then I bought his.
Okay.
And so like I'm happy. Like I got what I wanted, right? Like I still had no thoughts of like
how much you bought his for?
210.
Okay.
210. Yeah, no.
You got
yeah.
Man.
Yeah. No. It's love.
Yeah.
Like it's worth a lot more than that now.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
So I bought it for 210, and I'm just like, yo, this is gonna be my crib. I didn't think I would ever get married at that point. I thought I was just gonna be like a single. Yeah, I was gonna be a single dude. It was like a bachelor pad, man. It was perfect. 6 months later, I met my wife, but you know that is what it is. And so like my wife ended up moving in with me. My partner's school.
So
yeah. Saw
I'm with the dude that got one of the only rooftops in Nashville right now.
Nah, she ain't like that. But I know when she came and she saw it was a nice, clean, up-kept house. It's just, it didn't hurt my chances. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Definitely
like,
ain't hurt.
It didn't hurt my chances.
It definitely was like, oh, he's not like the other ones.
He's
doing something.
Yeah, he's got some going for himself. So I remember when we figured out we were gonna get married, I looked around at this 3-bedroom it's kind of like a town. It's connected on the back end. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, if we're gonna have a family, if I'm gonna do this family thing, like we need something a little bit bigger. We need to have a yard. We had a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like a big dog too. He's like 130 pounds at the time. And I was like, we need to figure out how to build something bigger. And she was like, okay. She wasn't even like thinking about it like that. I'm like, but I was thinking ahead for some reason. I'm like, even if it's like years ahead, like we ain't even married yet. And I'm like, we need to, you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna need to get out of this house at some point. And so we ended up going through. I remember I left a letter in everybody in that neighborhood's mailbox that owned a house or land in there. Like, I'd like to buy your house. Kind of, I mean, almost
like what we
like,
do.
like what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, like
you want to buy a property, go to the people that own it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I'm like, and we finally found a lot, and it was.
I'm happy you said that, bro. Hold on. You heard this man said, what year this was?
This was 2013, 2014, maybe 2014.
2014. Yeah. You wanted to buy a crib. You wanted to get into another deal, and you just took it upon yourself like, look, I'm about to go put some mailers in people's mailbox. And that's, I mean, it sounds so simple, but that's what it takes. Like, of course, in 2023, we got phone systems. We got texting systems. We could do a lot more. But at the end of the day, once you make that decision, go direct the seller. I mean, we're in a world where there's so many ways we could communicate and contact people. It's as simple as contacting someone, having a conversation, finding out if they want to sell their property, and seeing if you can make a deal work, if you could solve a problem.
And what's wild is the original property we're going to buy. I found the owners on Facebook, and I shot them a Facebook message like, "Hey, I want to buy your lot."
Power of social media.
And they shot me back a price, and I was like, it was perfect. We get all the way up to it. We're about to close on it, and there was the title wasn't clear. What had happened was there was a home on that lot originally, and it had burned down. And the owners claimed that they had clear title to it. The bank claimed that they had clear title to it, but nobody actually had clear title to it. So it was just like, it was like lost. It was just like they called it.
Had to walk.
They called it a zombie property. Yeah. And so the lot next to me, next to that one, which was, this lot was 33 feet wide. The other lot was 50 feet wide. We wanted the other lot because we wanted that extra, you know what I'm saying, 17 feet or whatever. We're living downtown. Like every inch of yard counts. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to have some kind of yard, you know what I mean? So, but we ended up buying the lot next door, the 33-foot lot, for $10,000.
Okay, so you bought your neighbor's lot for $10,000.
We bought the lot next door to the lot we wanted to buy for $10,000.
So was it next door to you?
No. This was down the street. This is down the street from where I'm still living in the spot with the rooftop deck at this point. And we're about to start building this other spot.
Okay.
And so I went back to the builder that bought my crib, and we built our home. You know what I mean? And it took a long time, and it was a lot of ups and downs. It was you know this as a builder, like if you go in and build a home that you built 100 times, like you can have that thing, you know everything that's going to go up in it. This was a custom build, so it was different.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Was back and forth.
Wifey
was like, I want the kitchen.
Yeah, we got to do this, and so it
was
a custom build. So it took a while.
Man, bro, what was going through your mind, like to build a property, build a house? Like, were you nervous, like knowing that you was about to put that amount of loan into your name? And did you know Nashville? Like,
did you
see Nashville?
I saw the neighborhood, and I knew the neighborhood. I thought if this neighborhood is gonna, and we're in like Chestnut Hill, Wedgwood, Houston area, and I remember thinking if this neighborhood does anything like what Germantown did or 12 South did or anything remotely near that, I thought we were making a good investment.
Okay,
right?
so
I didn't think it would be the investment that we made. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought it was a solid investment. Yeah. I didn't know it would be like crazy.
But you can't bank off of home runs. You know what I'm saying?
Can't.
They just kind of.
I thought it was solid. I thought eventually this neighborhood will be something better than it is now. And I saw little bit of evidence around that as the neighborhood was going. But even the street that we built our home on, we were the first house new build there. It was an empty lot. Like it was 100 feet of empty lot, and we were the first new build on that street. And so I remember thinking like where we were before that was a main street. All of the houses were being renovated and knocked down and built up. You know what I'm saying? But
And you saw, so they were doing it on other streets.
They're doing it, just not on the. So on the street, on the same street that I was on with the house with the rooftop deck, but this is a couple streets behind that.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? So I'm like a couple streets over. I'm like, I wonder if this house is gonna. I wonder if this is how long this is gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take long at all. Like we went up and then like everything kind of like dominoes fell, especially like 2018 to 2021, 2022.
Right,
it went crazy. It went
and
crazy.
That's why I tell people like, man, the principles are the principles. Like if you want to get into development or if you want to put your money, like what you did, invest into a certain neighborhood or a certain area, look at what's around you. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned 12 South, you mentioned Germantown.
Right.
These are neighborhoods that's not far from where you at.
No.
You know what I mean? So if you see it going on right next door to you, okay, maybe I can't get in at this price point because it's already kind of a little priced out for me. But let me go ahead and get into this area that's close because chances are they're going to run out of space here and they're going to move right over to the next one.
And you know what, man? Shout out to my wife, too, because I was like, let's just sell and move to East Nashville.
Okay, because East was already
going up. And she was like, I don't want to live in East Nashville. She was like, I don't want to leave this neighborhood just because it's so close geographically to everything. I want to stay here in the neighborhood. And I'm like, all right, cool. We'll stay here in the neighborhood. And I was like, that was brilliant.
You made a decision you're gonna marry her.
Yeah, I was like, yo, like that was a when I think back on it, like I was the one that was like, let's go. But she was like, no, like, I want to stay in this neighborhood. And I was like, cool. So we built the house, and when it came time to finance out of the construction loan and then back into two loans, because what we did was, we had the construction loan on the crib with the rooftop that we were living in, and then the land to build it, and then we had to get out of that and go into two separate loans. And so I was like, why don't we keep this and rent it out? And she was like, she didn't want to do that at first. So we tried to sell it, and the only offers we had were from investors. Like nobody wanted to buy the crib and live in it. Everybody wanted to buy it and rent it out, but I can't sell to you because the HOA. Like, so as an investor, like you have to live there for a year before you're able to able to rent it out. And so I'm like, look,
I know some investors that bought some properties not knowing that.
Yeah.
And that's some game you just dropped, bro. Like, pay attention to the HOA.
Man.
Pay attention before you buy a property to the HOA, because the HOA could stop you from renting it out, from Airbnb. Like, make sure you pay attention to that.
They won't let me Airbnb it now.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I did,
ridiculous.
Oh my God, I'm making a killing right now. But I mean, HOA laws can change. That can change at some point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm holding out and hoping that one day it does, because I'll be doing really well over there if it does, right?
Yeah.
But so we ended up keeping it, and we ended up renting it out.
Okay.
And that was our home for a while. Like we were on the 33-foot lot, and we always talked about. I was like, how?
So you kept the other home, and you got the home that
and I got
built.
the home that we built. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So at this point, you done did 3 real estate deals.
Right.
You bought an apartment.
Yeah.
Then you bought a new build from another guy. Right. Then you said, "All right, I'm gonna build my own house."
Right.
All right.
And when I went back and I looked at kind of what those homes on Riverfront were worth at that time, I was like, I don't want to sell this, because I sold that, and that was a mistake, because now that home that I bought for $110 is worth over $400 now, and you can Airbnb it. And
600 square feet,
650 square feet on the river, it's worth over $400,000 now.
But I mean, that's the learning lesson, you know.
Yeah, and that's the one that I'm like, no matter what, man, like I'm gonna hang on as much as I can. Like unless I absolutely have to sell something, I'm gonna hang on to it.
Exactly.
Until I'm ready to just sit down and retire. You know what I'm saying? So
so the one that you still own, the first one to this day?
Not the one that I bought for $110, no.
No, the 210.
The 210, yeah.
What's that one worth?
That $556, somewhere in there.
So I mean, you done paid it. I mean, how long it's been? 10 years. So
it's been 10 years. I did end up taking a little bit of cash out of it in 2021 to buy some extra land on our home, which I was.
That's the purpose of owning assets,
right?
You know,
exactly, and that's why I say, like, if things ever get bad, like, so I'll go through this next real estate one, and then we can kind of touch on that. But what we ended up doing with our land is somebody ended up buying that lot next to us, the original one we wanted to buy. A builder went in with lawyers and paid off the bank and paid off the owner and got clear title to it. Okay. He sat on it for a couple of years and then sold it. He's bought it for like $60,000, I think. I think he sold it for like 283, something like that.
I know who we talked about. Who it was.
Yeah.
I know,
He just bought it to buy it, sat on it, and then flipped it for 200 grand profit.
Them zoning laws changed.
Yeah.
So you could they slapped that R6 over there.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is there's a builder in my neighborhood, good dude too. His name is Josh. And I was out walking my dog one day. I saw Josh. And my wife and I had talked about like maybe knocking down our garage and then building up a garage that has like an in-law suite or like a something we could Airbnb or something that like if we have guests come in, because our house is just 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a kid, family coming in, like just some extra space. How can we get it out of this small lot, out of this? And so I talked to Josh for a minute, and he was like, I don't know that you'd be able to put another. I don't know if the land would, if the zoning laws would allow you to put another building on your property, but I'll check. And man, I think it was like 2 days later he called me. He was like, what if you bought, 15 extra feet and then your lot became big enough to put another structure on? I'm like, that's great. And he was like, I know the guys that bought it, and they could only put, the lot next door was 50 feet, right? I'm sorry, it was actually 60, my bad. It was 100 feet total between the two lots. That lot was like 66. Mine was 33 feet wide, right?
Okay.
So they were like, they could only put 2 houses on that, whether it's 66 feet wide or 50 feet wide.
Yeah.
It don't matter. So he was like, would you want to buy like 17 extra feet and make your lot 50 feet, their lot 50 feet? And I was like, yes. And so we came up with a price. It was a little more than I wanted to pay, honestly, but it was also kind of fair. Like when I did the mathematics of what they paid for it.
How much you bought it for?
I think I bought it for like 60.
You bought a pad in Nashville for 60 grand.
All right, so you're making me feel better about it.
Yeah, you could build. That's like buying a lot for 60 to build a house on it. You know what I mean?
You're right. But to us, it was like, it was 16, 17 feet. You know what I'm saying? But it was what it was. And
you said earlier,
yeah,
it's a game of inches downtown.
Yeah, it is a game of inches.
Now I get a whole nother property.
Yeah,
that's even. I'm gonna let you get into it.
Yeah,
even more equity.
So what we did was we bought that, and then we built up a 3-car garage on top of the 3-car garage. The 3-car garage is separated into a 2-car garage for us and a 1-car garage for guests. So there's a wall in between the 2 garages. So like if we have like guests or whatever,
I've been there.
Yeah. So if we're not, the guests don't see us, we're not in the garage, we're not all in the same space, right? And then on top of that is the apartment. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. It's small. It's probably 800 square feet, something like that. And on top of that, we put an office for my wife and a studio for me. And that went on for a long. I mean, the building process, man, is stressful. Especially, it's stressful anyway. I don't have to tell you that. Yeah. But when you're living on the property that's being built, different. It's a different type of stress.
What did you learn from your first build that you bought into this second build? Because now you're doing it again. So obviously,
I don't know. I would say it was less. I would say financing was less stressful because I remember. Okay. I remember being stressed, like, there's no way they're going to let me borrow this much money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at that number and you're like, nobody's going to tell me yes. Like, it's okay. You can have this kind of money. You know what I'm saying? And I think the financing aspect of it was a little less stressful, although this build did take a longer time than what we needed it to or wanted it to originally. So I had to go back and refinance it a couple of times. We had to, I had to ask for more money once or twice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was stressful, man. And those things get stressful. And then in the middle of that, the interest rates go up.
Okay.
So, I mean, this thing's being built.
So you had to modify it after the interest rate went up?
I'm not necessarily for that loan, but for when we came out of it, the interest rates were way higher. And so, like, my original budget and my original, like, what we're going to bring in on this, short-term rental,
it changed.
Out the water. Blown out the water, dog. Like, it's totally, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I'd be paying X amount of dollars for my home and for this back home. I thought I'd be bringing X amount of dollars in from the Airbnb. Like, it blew my budget out. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I am right now. Equity-wise, doing great.
Yeah.
Doing great.
You got some good
cash-wise. Yeah. Cash-wise, like, I'm back out here. Doing what I need to do to make sure all of these places are up and running and still in my name, right?
Because they're assets.
They're assets, man. And so, like, and that's what I said, like, man, if I got to go out and I got a DJ for prices that I don't really DJ for no more, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it to hold on to this. If that's what I have to do right now, I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where I am. And that's what I'm doing right now.
And that's the attitude to have, though. Back to that figure it out attitude and get it done, because you just got to understand that, I mean, all business is cycles, real estate cycles. I read something the other day, just look at business and real estate and whatever, just like the 4 seasons, there's cycles. But at the end of the day, you figure out how to get through that cycle. The other side is always going to be better, because interest rates,
they're going to drop.
They're going to drop.
They're going to drop. And as soon as they do, I'm fine.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as they do, I'm getting a raise.
Exactly.
You know, there's some other things on my 9 to 5 that changed a little bit, and I brought in less money. So it's kind of like the perfect storm, but like, I'm not mad at it right now, because I know what it is that I'm doing this for, and I know that those better days are coming. I think back in the day, man, it's just ebbs and flows of life and money, man. It's just like it comes and it goes. And when it's gone, what are you going to do about it? Right now, I'm out here spinning records again. You know what I'm saying? Doing what I got to do.
To you, though.
Yeah.
That's you. You know what I'm saying?
I have that skill that I can always go back to.
Exactly.
I can always go back to spinning these records again. And if I got to do it, I'm going to do it.
You said a skill.
Yeah.
You would never, once you have a skill, you could never be out the game.
Nah, exactly.
Even if you go down to zero, at least I have something.
I have something that I can make money that's profitable.
So like, before we get to wrapping up here, I want to ask you, like, what you got to say to people that have a 9 to 5 and want to get into real estate? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that have W-2 income and don't realize how much the banks actually value W-2 income. So can you talk to them about how we've already talked about it, how you use your W-2 income to build
I still
equity.
use my W-2 income.
Because your net worth is up there now with these real estate properties,
I mean, banks will give you money.
Yes.
Like, I think a lot of us, and this goes back to even like with my STR permit, I think we think things are a lot harder than what they are a lot of times, and they're not. They're not. Like, I mean, I remember stressing out whether or not I'm going to get this loan for the house that we built, and it wasn't that stressful.
It's easier for W-2 to get a loan than W-9. Like,
yes.
They're like, listen, I know you're employed. I ain't got to worry about iHeartRadio. They just go pay you, and they go pay their taxes.
Right.
Let me get this man this loan. Are you making enough money monthly to pay me my bill back?
Yeah.
You know?
We make things out to be a lot harder than they are. But you don't know that that's true until you actually do it.
Ask questions.
Ask questions, man. Do something with your equity. Even now, like my wife and I talked, like, I have enough equity in that house with the rooftop, the original house that we started this with, to pay off the back house. And that's always in the back. I have that card. I can play at any time. Like, if cash gets that bad for me.
Can I give you some advice?
Right, don't do it.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not. I don't. That's
because what you did is you leveraged that equity. Like, let me break down the game for you. Okay, you got a W-2 income that could get you a loan and get you inside of a real estate property. That you did it in Nashville. You know, Nashville is a once in a lifetime market.
Man,
but again, hundreds of thousands of equity.
Yeah.
Then you use that equity to build another property.
Yeah.
Now you have 2 properties, 3 now.
3 now, yeah.
That's compounded in equity. So now you could roll that equity between all 3 of those properties into one loan, and then use that money to now get 3 more properties. And that's the whole game of it. And you got to start it somewhere.
Right.
But now people don't understand, owning a property, you could get cash flow, you get equity, and I don't even know if you know about this, you get tax cuts from owning properties.
I know I get, I hand everything over to my CPA at the end of the year.
Let me put you on game.
Go for it, man.
There's something called a cost segregation study.
Okay.
You can write off 27% of your income year 1 owning a property because it's a depreciating asset. So what that means is, just like a car, it's a physical object, the roof, the HVAC, the property, you have to keep up with it. So they give you a credit for it. So say you buy $1 million worth of property with other people's money, not even your money.
Right.
You could write $270,000 off your income.
Wow.
So say you made $300,000, you would get taxed on 30.
Wow. That's insane.
People don't even realize that.
Nah,
it could literally wipe out your tax bill. So I mean, if you paying any taxes right now,
I'm gonna get all of it
go
back.
ahead and ahead and do a cost seg study. I can help you with that.
Yeah.
And then you will literally, and the good thing is the tax credits carry on to the next year.
Wow.
Until it's out.
Wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
That's the power on the real estate, man.
Yeah.
So look, we about to get ready to wrap up here, man. But man, before we wrap up, I just wanted to highlight, man, like throughout your career, I've noticed like you have that attitude of I'm gonna figure it out.
Right.
I'm gonna get it done. And also the other side is you use your resources. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you noticed, but like you said, I was walking in the park. I mean, in the neighborhood, I asked my neighbor, hey, I want to put another property on my house. He put you on zoning game.
Yeah.
Now you know zoning game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like at the end of the day, you got to learn how to leverage your resources to get you to that next level. And at the end of the day, if you got that mindset, you'll always figure things out. Yeah. Because 90% of business is done with people. Like skills is a part of it. I mean, technology and certain things, you got to have like crazy skills. But in real estate, you ain't got to be that smart. No. I don't think do you feel like that?
I do, man. I think
I don't feel like it, man.
Like like I said, man, I think it's a lot easier than what most people think it is.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and you know that, like, the hardest part for what you do when you're coaching somebody, what's the hardest part? Getting them to take that first step.
To do it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Once they take their first step, they're off on their own.
Exactly.
But you got to get them out of the house first. You got to get them off the porch.
Exactly.
And that's the hardest part. And I think getting off the porch is easier than what we make it out to be.
It is.
But it is intimidating sitting down, signing paperwork, and you see more zeros on what you're signing, like, yes, I'm going to pay this back. That's essentially what you're saying when you put that signature on the paper.
Yeah.
That, yes, I will pay this back.
You know what stopped people?
What? Their own mindset, yeah.
This right here. And that's why we started this show, man, because at the end of the day, you cannot let that invisible self, just think of it like this. You got your left side, you got your right side. Whatever side you want to be, the positive, you got one positive, one negative. Right. Whenever you about to make a decision, you got that negative self inside your ear telling you, don't do it. You're not going to be able to pay this back. Who you think you are trying to do this? And then the other side is you need to tap in with your positive self that's like, do it. You got this. You done got this far. You done figured all this out.
And I think the caveat to that is even people, even we that do take those jumps, in the back of our mind, we still have those negative thoughts.
Everybody do.
And I think people look and be like, man, he's so confident. How does he do that? Blah, blah, blah. Nah, bro, like I'm second guessing myself every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just going to get it done.
We just go get it done.
We're just going to go get it done. But those doubts are there.
You let them doubts just go by.
Yeah.
You know that they go be there, but you let them just go by like a cloud or a car.
Or they come on real strong when you're already too deep into it. And you're like, shit, I'm here now. Ain't nothing I can do. Like, what am I going to do?
Never turn
like,
around,
yeah,
bro.
like framing is done. I can't stop building now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to finish it. What are we going to do?
Exactly, bro. So, man, this was a dope conversation that we had, bro. I like that the viewers have been able to like get it from a different perspective because we've always have entrepreneurs on here that's full-time in the game. But I mean, everybody's not built to be a full-time entrepreneur. Like, if you got a secure income, secure cash flow, you could get into this game. And like my man Dole just said, the hardest thing really is you starting off. So what's like one piece of advice you want to leave our viewers with before we wrap up?
Man, I would just say, like, if you have the means, and I see people say this all the time, like, I want to buy a house, but I want to wait until I have a family. I want to wait until I can afford the house that I want. The easiest way for you to afford the house that you want is to buy something now because it all appreciates, bro.
Yes.
It appreciates at levels, especially here in Nashville. It appreciates at levels that like were unimaginable for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think that I'd be sitting here with the net worth that I have now.
Yes.
But yeah, just take that first step.
Yeah.
Buy your first $110,000 condo. You know what I'm saying? There's not many of them left, but you know what I'm saying?
In the Midwest, man, there's some markets, man, that has some opportunity. But like you said, bro, don't wait to buy real estate.
Yeah.
Buy real estate and wait. So, man, that's wrapping up another great episode of the Triple M podcast. Stay tuned in. Like, subscribe, comment, share the podcast with a friend. Tell that friend to share with 3 friends. Tell them to share with everybody. We need to get this in the ears of everybody because I truly believe we are moving into a place in our economy where, hey, that W-2 income might not be as secured as you think it is moving forward. So leverage your resources now. The time is always now. If you thinking when is it time to start, it is right now. It's never going to be a perfect time. Y'all stay tuned for our next episode. We'll be right back at it again next week. Peace.